sparked a lifelong commitment to speak up for animals who can't speak for themselves. 50 plus years ago, Elvis and I supported American Humane Society because animals deserve our voice. And now, more than ever, they still do. American Humane Society saves lives and strengthens the bond between humans and animals. Each year, millions of animals end up in shelters, waiting for someone to give them a second chance. Your compassion can change a life. Please visit AmericanHumane.org to learn more. Thank you.
Good morning.
Time to get ready for your day with the morning warm-up with Trey Lyle. Join us live on VTRN Sports 93.3 FM or the VTRN Sports app. Open VTRN Sports on your smart speaker or stream live on YouTube. Time to get ready for your day with the morning warm-up with Trey Lyle and Ty Tracy.
7:03 on this Thursday, October 9th. Welcome to the morning warm-up. Trey Lyle, that is Ty Tracy. Ty, you're healing up. Your shoulder apparently, Tyrone Tracy back at practice for the Giants. So, feeling good?
Yeah, it was a nice vacation.
I mean, are you afraid? It seems like Cam Scatterby was taking your job.
We ain't worry about him. No.
Okay, that's the only insight you can get right here.
Yeah.
We can get the insight of an actual NFL running back every day.
Yes.
So let's get to everything we missed in case you missed it.
Keeping up with sports 24/7 takes some serious effort, especially when you're sleeping. Don't worry, the morning warm-up stays alert around the clock. Now here is everything you missed last night.
Ty, you know what I like to do?
What?
Start 1-0. And you know who started 1-0 this week? You and I. Because we picked Liberty.
Yes.
And Sam and Luke picked UTEP. And Liberty got the win last night, 19-8 in a, it certainly was a football game. Liberty outgained UTEP 403 to 167. They had more first downs, 22-9, but 3 of 18 on third down. Kept this low scoring. Ethan Vasco, 19 of 33 for 243 in this one. We'll break it. He also had, I believe, 2 rushing touchdowns in this game. We'll break down the game in a second, but Liberty gets the win 19-8. Other headlines from yesterday. Ty, if it's week 7 of year 1, and you have to issue a statement both as a head coach and the athletic director saying you're fully committed to staying at the university, what do you think has happened? Either
that he's getting fired
or it's going really, really well?
Yeah.
Well, that's what UNC had to do last night, and I don't think it's going really, really well after reports that UNC is looking to get out of the Bill Belichick contract. Both him and AD Bubba Cunningham, who is kind of just stuck in this situation because, again, he did not want to hire Bill Belichick. He wanted to hire John Summerall or Matt Campbell, who are 2 good candidates for the Virginia Tech job.
Yeah.
And would have been for the North Carolina job. But after it's been bad. And we'll, in this area, we'll see him up and close in a couple of weeks when they take on Virginia. And it's just been bad. It's been PR nightmare after PR nightmare. They canceled the Hulu show. But
yes, it's getting bad, Chapel Hill.
We'll see. They're bringing in like 40 new freshmen, so we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, I don't know if that means a lot of immediate success, but we'll see. Current notes. Yesterday, NASCAR President Steve O'Donnell announced on the Dale Jr. download that NASCAR will increase its horsepower to 750 at every track under 1.5 miles, as well as road courses. Interesting. So basically the short tracks and road courses. Will this help? Possibly. And we'll see. I mean, I think the horsepower probably needs to go up a little bit more to near 900, but it's at least something. And we'll see. He also, on the playoff format, said nothing will be announced before the end of the season. thinks the current playoffs potentially hurt star power, doesn't like that people talk about the playoffs when someone wins the Daytona 500. I agree with that. And NASCAR needs the drivers to buy into whatever the format is, and says NASCAR can't have a format in place to bring in new fans at the expense of existing fans. NASCAR fans are not like football fans. I agree with all those points, and my question is, why weren't those said when you made the format originally? And in interesting news, the D1 Administrative Committee votes to remove restrictions on gambling on pro sports. So any D1 athlete can gamble on pro football or pro sports. So, for example, we had Philip, shout out to Philip, intern Philip. He now, if he was still a D1 football player, could have bet on the NFL games we air, can't bet on the college games. So, I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Granted, you're not really with a lot of COVID players. It's only like juniors and seniors can do this. You have to be 21 years old.
Yeah.
It's not like a freshman can do this legally. So, it was passed yesterday. I think it's not a crazy thing. I think it opens up. Now, I still don't know the restrictions on, like, for example, let's say Jeremiah Smith gets a deal with DraftKings and he comes out and it's like, my parlay boost is Jackson Smith and Jigba for 100 yards plus a touchdown and Mecca Buka for 100 yards plus a touchdown because they were my teammates. Like, is that can you do that type of NIL deal? I don't know. Granted, DraftKings, or I should be like Ed and be petty and say the one with the crown because they don't sponsor us.
Yeah.
But my point being, again, I offer great free advice. Commanders helped. By the way, Commanders one-upped me, and I didn't even think about this. Commanders did a Bill Krosky Merritt social media post. That also really good. Next to,
I'm just a bill. Yes, I'm only a bill. And I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill.
So it's definitely something to keep in mind. All right, let's get into this tie. 19-8 final score. Liberty gets the win. Liberty offensively, again, they go for 400 yards. They only allow 56 yards rushing, which is good. Now, I will not say I came watching the game last night. Granted, my focus was elsewhere, but I sort of rewatched a couple highlights this morning. But I watched. I felt like I got good eyes on most of the game. It felt like Liberty just had handled their business, but I still would like to see a lot more. I mean, you get 400 yards and only 19 points, just not 22 first downs. Like, reason they scored the 19 points because they were 3 of 18 on third down. That's not good. They were 4 of 5 on fourth down. That's not a sustainable statistic. You need I know, and Chadwell will admit, like, got to be better on third down. I think having Vasco back at least brings their floor back up to their offense, where I don't know if the offensive ceiling is there. Granted, because when you were at your best, the offensive ceiling currently is the second best receiver on maybe the best team in the country in the Miami Hurricanes, and the quarterback's on a solid Big 12 team, plus a couple of other pieces, whether it's Quentin Cooley, who's not there anymore, or so on and so forth. But, I'm referring to, of course, CJ Daniels, and Caden Salter. I think Vasco brings a good floor to this team that the freshmen, whether it's Merdinger, Hauk, like those guys just couldn't do. And
plus you got added. They was 4 for 5 on fourth down.
Yeah, 4 or 5 for fourth down, which is really good. Granted, I don't know if that's sustainable, and I'm just gonna read a couple stats for you. 9 of 17 for 90 yards, 4 of 10 for 21 yards. In total, they were 13 of 27 for 111 yards and 2 interceptions. That was the quarterback stats for UTEP. They just had bad quarterback play too.
I was about to say
because there were plays, and they also dropped. At least one touchdown was dropped.
Yeah,
for UTEP.
I was like UTEP offense was they had a bad night last night. I was watching the
To
game.
Liberty's credit and to their they just had bad execution, and Liberty defensively look this. I would say this is the best game they played all year, despite the fact they only scored 19 points, at least defensively,
But
because I'm not counting the main game.
yeah, and plus the UTEP's offense put their defense in bad situations as well on the field, and the UTEP defense tried their best to maintain it.
So,
But
we'll talk about this game with Bryson next Wednesday, but I'm not here to sit here and say Liberty is fixed, because I don't think that's the case, because they're going to play better teams.
No.
Because they played Louisiana Tech, I think New Mexico State.
But it was a good win to get under their belt, though.
They needed the win.
Yeah, they needed
the fact they got the win is a really, really good thing. And
it was
it was ugly.
Win. Yeah, it was ugly.
It was ugly.
Because you gotta think about you gotta look at the drives. It was just all right, after their first touchdown, it just field goal, punt, interception, field goal. Down. Then I was like, UTEP's defense actually was trying their best, and
UTEP's defense played good in the red zone.
That's why I was like, it's just the offense was just not clicking. It was playing bad. That's why I was like, their defense couldn't do nothing.
Yeah, if you convert these to touchdowns, I mean, you convert 2 of these to touchdowns, we're saying something different. So they need to be better in the red zone. They need to be better. They need to be better
overall. Yeah, it's just it's not just
heading into. I think that. But this is, I think, an encouraging performance after being 1-4, because easily, with a team with these kind of expectations, I think they'll be favorites when they play New Mexico State this week at home, which, by the way, if you want your tickets to that game, insaneradiodeals.com, use promo code TRICK and you get 60, I want to make sure I get this right, 62% off. So now through November 3rd. So going on right now. So head to insaneradiodeals.com for that. But, you have your next 3 games at home: New Mexico State, Delaware, Missouri State. You should be able to win those 3 games. All right. I think Delaware is the best team you play down the stretch. But you should be able to get those 3 heading into your 2 road games: FIU, Louisiana Tech.
And never mind, they got Kennesaw State in. My bad.
Which they lost to last year.
But I still have questions right now. Like, I wouldn't be too too excited. It's just you still got questions.
It's encouraging, but there's still a lot more questions that need to be answered.
That's why if you look at the drives, you be like, okay, I'm not for sure yet.
The problem is, between the 20s, they moved the ball well. Once they got into the 20, they did not. And that could be an issue, where I think you're going to play some good offenses, like Missouri State last night, who you'll play in a few weeks. They're coming off a win against Middle Tennessee, where their offense looked decent. I think Delaware has a really good offense.
And plus, you got to think about it, too. UTEP, well, never mind. Well, UTEP actually went to a whole different game plan. Just straight past the ball only.
Yeah, they didn't run the ball.
I'm so surprised. But that's I'm not for sure what's going to happen the next 3 games. I'm really questioning about Liberty right now. I don't feel comfortable at all.
Well, the good news is you need to win 4 more to get to a bowl game, and you can do that. I think you can win your next 3. If they win their next 3, then they're cooking with some oil. If you want to host the Conference USA Champ game, I mean, you're already 2 games back of Western Kentucky,
or Louisiana Tech,
and 2 games back of Louisiana Tech. You played Louisiana Tech, so you need 1 game back of Louisiana Tech. It's actually 1.5, because 1 is 3-0 and you're 1-1. So it's not actually 3 games, but you need to start winning. So the fact they won, good, encouraging sign.
I just feel
the fact that Vasco put up 243 yards, encouraging sign. Their big issue was penalties and stopping themselves in the red area. Because, again, 3 of 18 from third down is not good. And they had 6 penalties for 57 yards in this game. So Now I don't think UTEP is an all like we talked about UTEP's defense. I think UTEP's defense looked good.
Yeah,
Their offense.
I think there was like top. I think there was like top in the country. Like I can't remember which category on
In
defense.
yeah, well, they were. I don't think they are anymore.
Yeah,
but I think what we had is I think Liberty's defense played well. Granted, this might be the outside of Maine the worst offense they play all year.
Yeah, definitely. It was definitely
after watching it.
Yeah,
after watching it, Malachi Nelson. I don't know how he became a 5-star, but he was, and he was benched in this game for Skylar Locklear, who was.
Somebody was lying on that chart. Somebody was lying.
I mean,
I'm just saying somebody was lying about
he
this.
He was interesting. All right. And so we got James in here. James in our chat. He was here yesterday, but on our stream, on our Facebook stream, or you can check us out, youtube.com/@VTRN Sports Lynchburg, and comment your thoughts. But James here, my lord, they won. But the third downs were destroying me if they don't clean that up. Yeah. Absolutely, James. I mean, if this is a closer game, 3 of 18 for third down is the glaring statistic that I would be worried about. Good news is your other team went 3 of 50.
And plus, you got to think about it. And their fourth downs, they were 4
for 5. Which
there was like between like the 4, like it was like 4 and 2 or 4 and less the whole time. That's how they was getting the first down.
A couple of those third downs, they went with the mindset of we have 2 downs here, we'll run the ball. So I will say that. I will say this: a guy who flashed for me was the freshman. Jalen Coleman, the running back, who had, even though he had 1 reception for 31 yards, it was a nice little reception. So maybe you see him more as the season goes on. But Von Blue led the way. I do like this. This is the one thing that I am encouraged by. They ran the ball 47 times. Yeah. I know it was only for 3.5 yards a carry. But the fact they stayed committed to the run with 47 carries is an encouraging sign.
Yeah. They went with their bread and butter.
That includes some sacks and stuff because Vasco had 14 carries and a touchdown. So, which was the only touchdown in the game after I'm doing some quick math.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For Liberty.
Yes, that's how I was like.
Because their field goal kicker went 4 of 5 for 80 yards. So
he was the player of the game.
If you somehow have Jay Billingsley on your college fantasy team, you just racked up a bunch of points because he also hit 1 from 50 in this one. So
that's how I felt like it was like if you just look at that play-by-play, the score summary, it was like, okay, there's no way.
It's a lot, like it's encouraging they won, but I feel like there's a lot more to be desired. Like if we thought Liberty, if Liberty was matching the expectations that we thought of them coming into the season, which was a 10-2 football team that was going to compete at the top of Conference USA, they should have won this game by 3 scores, and they only won more. They only won by 11.
Yeah, it should have been more. Like
it
should be at least like 4, like 4.
You're gonna play even if they make the Conference USA championship game. They're going to play 2 good offenses the rest of the way. They're going to play Louisiana Tech, and if they, I'm assuming Western Kentucky, maybe a rematch with Louisiana Tech in the Conference USA championship game. Those are 2 good offenses. You're going to have to put points up on the board.
I was saying Delaware has actually good stable offense as well. And they really like surprised me, especially the first year in the FBS level.
Yeah, it's because you produce Joe Flacco. You can get quarterbacks who. Someone needs to pray for Joe Flacco because he got traded to the Bengals, which did we talk about that yesterday? That happened.
Yeah.
No, that happened.
I was like,
did that happen? Did that happen Monday? It happened yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Joe Flacco got traded to the Bengals.
I think it was yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah, it was No. Today's Thursday. I think
it was Tuesday. So we did talk about it yesterday. But again, back to the point. We're getting off topic. Please pray for Joe Flacco's body. Because boy, oh boy, I think the Bengals need to call Philip Doss up, man. If they need offensive linemen at this point. Our guy Philip can do just as well. By the way, shout out to Asia Wilson. I know we don't talk a lot of the WNBA, but Asia Wilson proving why she's the best basketball player on the planet on the women's side.
Yes,
hit game winner last night. Vegas is up. Vegas is probably going to win a title. And yes, quickly we'll go over the baseball scores because we will have more baseball for you today. Blue Jays 5, Yankees 2. All right, we'll move on. Yankees are eliminated. And I know there are people out there that want to complain about Aaron Judge, and he's not great. I just want to note his postseason statistics are insane this season. All right, are actually insane. If I can pull them up on, so this postseason, he hit 500 with a .581 on base and 6.92 slugging and a 1.273 on base plus slugging plus the clutch homer in game 3. So again, it wasn't Aaron Judge's fault. And I just want to leave that there because he is the MVP. Anyways, Blue Jays 5, Yankees 2. Tigers forced a game 5 against the Mariners, 9-3. Tigers get that one done. Cubs force a game. Cubs win game 3, 4-3, and the Phillies win game 3, 8-2, resulting in 2 game 4s today between the Phillies and the Dodgers and the Brewers and the Cubs. So 5:30 airtime right here on VTRN Sports. So we'll have a 30-minute fast lane. Ed will be chatting with, I believe, conversations with Mike Young and the boys over the Hokies. So we'll have that today. So, by the way, go back to our guy, James here. He says, I doubt LU will go to a bowl game unless it's the toilet bowl. James, my man. Oh, God. James, so like, we officially lost ties. So I have a friend, sort of a scouting mentor of mine. He commented his score yesterday, and he said if Vasco plays 34-10 Flames, no Vasco 23-17 Flames. And this is my friend of the show, Eric Taylor. I commented staying positive. I see, and he just says Phantom. So I have been able to experience both ends of Flame fanhood. By the way, intern Luke on James's side, 100% based off of our interactions with him. He's like, they suck. We should fire Chadwell. Don't think that. Clearly, I'm here to say, official on the record, Jamie Chadwell, good football coach. I think you're entitled to your own opinion. I do love, again, underrated Twitter account. Not underrated, properly rated. One of the best is Message Board Geniuses, which do you follow that?
Mm-hmm.
James right here being our message board genius this morning. All right, when we come back, and James, we appreciate you listening in this morning, my friend, on our Facebook stream. So the VTRN Sports powered by ESPN Radio Facebook page, or on the youtube.com/@VTRN Sports Lynchburg, or you can follow me on Instagram @Trey Lyle VT, where I stream the show there as well. So maybe you're in the car, you're taking the kids to school, or you're going to work, you're done with work, then you just pull it up on your phone, whether it's the VTRN Sports app or on one of our streams. If you like to see my ugly mug this early in the morning, maybe that wakes you up by giving you a jump scare. But when we come back, today in sports history, plus we'll talk a little bit about Virginia. We'll talk a little bit about Virginia Tech, but not in football. Hoops. ACC Media Day is going on, so we're going to give some thoughts about ACC hoops if we have time. But, of course, around 7:40, Andy Bitter, TechSideline.com. Dysfunction amongst the coaching search. Is that apparent? We'll talk about that and much more later in the morning. We're up. We'll be back.
In most things, it's hard to go from ordinary to extraordinary. It's easy with your home or business. Call the Concrete Wizard and transform your place into an extraordinary space. If you're tired of looking at unsightly concrete, then bring light to your old surfaces. Call the Concrete Wizard for free design consultations, free estimates, and fast professional concrete resurfacing. And visit theconcretewizard.com for ideas from other before and after photos.
Feel the excitement, experience the intensity. Castle Coliseum comes alive when Hokie basketball takes the court. He made it on 1 foot lead. It's down. From buzzer beaters to hard-fought battles, Virginia Tech men's and women's basketball takes on the toughest teams in the ACC. Up and in. Here come the Hokies. Only ropes. Don't just hear about it. Be there. Tickets on sale now at Hokiesports.com.
Halloween isn't here yet, but that doesn't mean you have to wait till the day of trick-or-treating to go out and have fun. Because we have scary, fun experiences for you at 62% off at InsaneRadioDeals.com, brought to you by VTRN. That's right, folks. We're doubling the love at 62% off list price items like Star City Half Marathon, Liberty Flames tickets, Rise Up Climbing Day and month passes, and Aqua Trek Adventures. All this and more now to November 3rd on InsaneRadioDeals.com.
Will the Amherst County Lancers pull off an upset at Sabre Stadium after coming oh so close in 2024? Find out Friday, October 10th on Jefferson Forest Cavaliers football, presented by TrostWall.com. Your Central VA Flooring kickoff show begins at 6:30 on the Virginia's Talk Station app, 100.9 FM Lynchburg, 95.5 FM Bedford, and Open Virginia Talk Radio Network on your smart speaker. JF Football is also presented by Crossroads Family Dentistry, Forest Youth Athletic Association, Meineke Car Care, and the Andy Matthews Insurance Agency.
Good morning. We are just getting your day started here on VTRN Sports with the morning warm-up. Stay connected with the show at Trey Lyle VT and Ty Tracy 90 on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Listen wherever you are with the VTRN Sports app, or watch the show live on YouTube at youtube.com/VTRN Sports Lynchburg. Now, back to the morning warm-up.
7:28 on this Thursday, October 9th. Welcome to the morning warm-up. I'm Trey Lyle. That's Ty Tracy. Let's get to it. Ty's best segment, the man where he gets to show how smart he is today in sports history.
Tyrod waiting. Tyrod scrambling. Back at the 20. Fires. End zone. It is caught for the touchdown by Roberts. It's a miracle in Blacksburg. Tyrod did it, Mikey. Tyrod did it.
It's time for Today in Sports History.
Play action. Salter to throw back to the left, and it's caught in the end zone. Light him up. Touchdown, Liberty. Bentley Henshaw.
From ruin to redemption, the Virginia Cavaliers are the 2019 NCAA National Champions.
Let's hear what Ty really knows about what happened on this day in sports history.
All right, Ty. On this date in 1966, this team claimed its first World Series title, edging the Dodgers 1-0 to sweep them in 4 games. The MVP was Frank Robinson.
Oh, Baltimore Orioles.
Yeah, that's what gave it away. I shouldn't have given the player. But yeah, so was the Orioles winning their first title in 1966. In 1974, this team lost their first NHL game 6-3 to the Rangers at MSG. Hockey team. They still exist today. So it's not like the Minnesota North Stars who don't and became the Dallas Stars, but shout out to that. Or the Hartford Whalers that became the Carolina Hurricanes.
You might got me on this one.
Ty, I want you to think about our show and how I try to get these questions.
Oh, Washington Capitals.
There we go. I was going to say, come on. This was easy because there's one. I said it's not I already gave you the hint. It's not the Carolina Hurricanes. So it had to be the other local team, which is the Washington Capitals. Yes. So you're so far 2 for. I'm going to give that to you. 2 for 2. On this date in 2000. Oh, I do not want to do that one. Yeah, there's a couple. Oh, here we go. In 2016, this man returned from his 4-game suspension, passing for 406 yards and 3 touchdowns.
TB12.
Yes, Tom Brady. So, by the way, on this date, Jerry Sandusky got sentenced and Sepp Blatter tried to become the president of FIFA again, which, yeah, that's not ideal. But we're gonna get to some. I got one more for you. Okay.
Okay.
Hopefully, I gotta find it. I saw it yesterday. I gotta find it today. On this date, on. Well, today is not October. They need a. Well, it's not updated. Never mind. It's saying it's all from October 6th. I was gonna go. J-Ski has a on this date in NASCAR history for NASCAR, but it's all October 6th. If maybe. So, anyways, that was fun. But that's it. So you go 3-0. You're at a lot to a little on this. And Ty, how do you, any post game press conference? How do you feel?
Just keep working. You go keep working.
Hashtag grind.
Yep, grind don't stop.
By the way, your record 206-67. Holy Philip needs to come back for one time just so he can get over the 500 mark because he's sitting at 39-40. I know he's busy right now coaching LCA, the JV team, which that was fun to see him the other day. Got a middle school game today, so that's gonna be interesting. Sandusky Middle School, so I'll be at the stadium. I don't know why I should reveal where I'll be today. And then tomorrow I head to Gretna Nelson.
Okay.
JF has Amherst.
Yes, at Sabre Stadium.
6:30 airtime on 100.9 WIQ.
Yep.
And then next Friday.
Oh, I can't. I've been waiting for this.
6:30 airtime, 100.9 WIQ.
I think the referee God heard my answer.
EC Glass, JF heading to EC Glass, aka City Stadium. And yes, folks, I will be part of the crew.
The football and the referee God answered my
Ty
prayers.
needs to be on alert because I will eject Ed 5 seconds into the game.
Trey, what kind of call is that?
Just. My hope is that I will be. The funny part is I will be on the home side, so I don't think Ed will even see me. I think my back will be to Ed the whole time because I will be the line judge.
Okay.
So, and I got a good crew with me, so I'm excited. That's gonna be funny. I'm going to laugh.
Oh man, this is the best day of my life.
You won't even be there. You'll be here.
I know, but I just want to hear what Ed will say.
So, well, I will text Ed the crew so that you can give us a shout out. So, but yes, that's happening. I think I revealed that already. That's happening a week from not this Friday, next Friday. So I'm at Gretna tomorrow night. Gretna, Nelson. So that should be, we'll just say an interesting game. I don't know if it'll be a good game.
Wait, do JV still play their games on Thursdays?
Yes.
Okay.
But I don't have a JV game tonight. I just have a middle school game.
Okay, that's good.
So it's we'll see. It's a fun job. All right. So obviously Ed down in Charlotte for ACC tip off. That's going on right now. And I just want to bring up the fact that what we're in store for. We're not going to give. There's if you think rosters change a lot in football on the college side, basketball is way worse.
Yeah.
Virginia Tech at least is bringing back 3 guys that we're familiar with, including obviously headlined by Toby Lawal. Again, I'm not going to pronounce the guy's last name because I'm never going to get it. But they have Neo, who again is getting, I think, rightful, as our guy David Cunningham brought up when Virginia Tech signed him, appropriate hype. Again, to put in perspective, the last time Virginia Tech had anywhere close to a lottery pick in the draft, the guy just signed his third contract in the NBA. And of course, Nikhil's first extension was not a full extension. So, but Nikhil Alexander Walker was the last time someone was remotely a lottery pick on this Virginia Tech team. And Neo appears to be a lottery pick. I know a couple people have called him the best international prospect in college basketball. He is a Luka Doncic type, where he's probably going to be the point guard for this team, which is interesting. You're going to get a 6'7" point guard that can shoot. That's good, really good. And Virginia, I think, is bringing. Honestly, I think right now, if you want to look at the ACC, I think Duke is the clear number 1. I think Louisville is the clear number 2, and then there's a battle for number 3 through 8, where I think you get the North Carolinas of the world, you get Virginias of the world. I think you can even throw Virginia Tech in there. And I think the ACC has to be a lot better than it is last year, than it was last year. I think the goal is 6 tournament teams, bare minimum, Virginia Tech being one of those teams. But you think about it. I think Duke is still going to be one of the best teams in the country. I mean, they're bringing in the Boozer twins. They're actually pretty experienced. They have the depth they need. Obviously, they're not going to have Cooper Flagg, who maybe was one of the best freshmen we've ever seen play collegiate basketball. But they're still going to be really, 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 really good.
Mm.
And then you have Louisville, which has obviously UVA transfer Isaac McNeely. I like a lot of things that Pat Kelsey's doing at Louisville. I think they're going to be a really good team. And then you have North Carolina, who brings in a 5-star freshman, Caleb Wilson. And amongst others, they actually have brought size back to North Carolina. And I think they're going to be really good. I think, shout out to Ed here. I think Will Wade's a really good basketball coach. And wherever Will Wade goes, he wins. I think NC State's going to be really like... not just the talent level is increased both at Virginia Tech, North Carolina State, North Carolina. Duke is still at the highest end.
Yeah.
Louisville. But over the last couple of years, and this is not the coaching level has gotten a lot better. I think Ryan Odom is a massive upgrade at coaching. Will Wade, I know we have people in Lynchburg, and Kevin Keats is from Lynchburg. Will Wade is an elite basketball coach, and I'm not here to denigrate Kevin Keats. I think he did a good job at NC State, and obviously got them to a Final Four and went on a magical run. And that's a Lynchburg native. And I'm not going to bash Kevin Keats. I'm just saying, like, the overall coaching level in the ACC, especially at Virginia and Louisville, for example, have gotten a lot better.
Yeah,
and I'm not. Again, that's not a slight at Tony Bennett. It's what's the guy's name? Who was the coach last year? Ron Sanchez.
Yes.
Like Ron Sanchez, again, as I stated,
he was put in the last minute situation that
as I stated, as soon as Tony Bennett retired, Ron Sanchez got put in literally an unwinnable situation. And he had a roster that was not good enough and had to basically make him a tournament team. And he wasn't going to do that. And that's not a slight on Ron Sanchez. Ryan Odom has won everywhere he went. He won at UMBC. They haven't won anything since. They pulled off the greatest upset in the history of college basketball.
Yep.
Ironically, against the team he's at now, Virginia. He went to Utah State. Mountain West is a really good basketball conference. They have San Diego State, which is a perennial power that was just in the national runner-up 2 years ago. Boise State's a really good program. Colorado State's a really good program. And he won there. And they went to VCU and won in the best mid-major conference that is in all of college basketball, which is the A-10.
Mm-hmm.
Which has multiple teams that have been to the Final Four.
Yeah,
and Loyola Chicago, George Mason, and VCU.
A well-known basketball conference that people don't like.
The really A-10 is a legitimate, multiple years, and they have Dayton, which in 2020, Dayton was going to be a 1 seed and maybe have won the national title with Obi Toppin. I don't think they would have won the national title. They probably would have they could have made the Final Four, at least a really good tournament run. So the coaching level is increased. The talent level is increased. Just for example, if you want to look at Virginia Tech and Virginia now has dudes and a really good coach.
Mm-hmm.
Virginia Tech had a really good coach, and I'll go to my grave saying Mike Young is an elite basketball coach. For people that I know, Virginia Tech fans that got frustrated with Mike Young last year, he did not have the dudes, and he got as much.
Plus, I think they was young too, were they?
Yes.
Yeah.
He lost his starting backcourt a month before the season started.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what coach. You're already a coach that's at a talent deficit, and then you lose your starting backcourt. They turn based off of all the quotes, which you can check out the conversation Ed has with Mike Young today on the Fast Lane. You give Mike Young dudes, it's gonna result in success.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about Virginia Tech basketball this year.
And
Virginia,
I think
and
Liberty. I think we're gonna have a lot of good basketball going on.
Yeah, I think they really it was like they would just hit a wall and they recover really well. And now I'm really excited about both teams this year in the Commonwealth.
Yep.
Well, 3 teams in the Commonwealth. Excuse me, everybody.
JMU should be good too.
Yeah.
So, all right, when we come back, Andy Better, TechSideline.com. It appears there's some dysfunction with the coaching search. We'll talk about that and much more. You're listening to the Morning Warm Up on VTRN Sports.
Going once, going twice, gone. This is the last year you can have Terrell E. Mosley install a new qualifying heat pump and get a $2,000 federal tax credit. If your current system is over 10 years old, you should seriously consider updating your system and take advantage of this tax credit. Not to mention, a new, more energy-efficient system will also save you on your electric bill. Call Terrell E. Mosley. It's a free service for them to come and discuss the options available to you. Don't miss out. Call Terrell E. Mosley or visit them at terrellemosley.com.
It's so worth the drive to big savings at the used car superstore on the Sheeler Motor Mile. Shop local and save more with exceptional service and selection. Your search stops here with over 900 pre-owned vehicles to choose from, plus a huge selection of new car brands in Southwest Virginia. Honda, Hyundai, Toyota, Subaru, Kia, Chevrolet, Mitsubishi, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. 11 new car brands, 900 used vehicles, all in one location. The Sheeler Motor Mile gives you more choices with pre-owned cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs. Many have miles in the teens, remaining factory warranties, and some are even local one-owner vehicles. More than any other dealer in the area, plus exceptional service, selection, savings, and financing options, and top dollar for your trade. Volume selling means volume pricing, and we've got the volume with 11 new car brands and over 900 used vehicles, all in one location. And we're proud to support our local schools and community. The Used Car Superstore on the Sheeler Motor Mile, your premier car dealer, locally and family-owned for over 50 years. I-81 exit 118C in Christiansburg. Call 866-SHEELER1. Always open at Sheeler.com.
Yummy.
Looks should not be deceived, especially when you place your order. Now under new ownership and newly staffed, Oliver's on Rivermont has a guarantee for you. What you see on the menu is what you'll get in every order. It's the same great-looking menu at Oliver's on Rivermont, now with new additions like pork chops, ribs, and pasta steaks. And the new chef is the master of consistency, so what you order is what you'll get every single time at Oliver's on Rivermont.
A winning sports team doesn't use the same game plan for every opponent. The same is true for your personal injury case. Hi, I'm Randy Trost with Trost Law. Since 1982, our strategy starts with a team meeting between you and our team. We'll learn about your case and craft a custom game plan. Then we'll fight for you every step of the way to get a winning outcome. We hope you never need our services, but if you do, we're one phone call away at 777-HURT or trostlaw.com.
From the VTRN News Center, I'm Bill Trefiro. Roanoke police are investigating a hit and run involving a pedestrian at the intersection of Hirschberger Road and Rutgers Street Northwest. That incident around 7:34 last night. A man sustaining serious injuries and rushed to the hospital. Authorities are searching for a black SUV believed to be involved in that accident. Anyone with details is urged to contact Roanoke police. The only scheduled debate between the two major party candidates for Virginia governor will happen tonight in Norfolk. Democratic candidate Abigail Spanberger will debate Republican candidate Winsome Earl Sears on the campus of Norfolk State University. Spanberger is currently leading the Republican lieutenant governor in most polls. The recent controversy of a series of texts sent by Attorney General candidate Jay Jones is expected to play a role in tonight's debate, which is set to begin at 7 p.m. Governor Glenn Youngkin says Democrats need to force their candidate for Attorney General to drop out of the race. Youngkin called a series of text messages sent by Democrat Jay Jones demented and beyond crazy yesterday. The text messages were sent to a Republican delegate in 2022 and showed Jones wishing for the shooting death of former Republican House Speaker Todd Gilbert. The governor said Jones should drop out of the race in disgrace, calling him unfit for the office of Attorney General. From the Virginia Talk Radio Network, I'm Bill Trefiro.
Good morning. We are just getting your day started here on VTRN Sports with the morning warm-up. Stay connected at Trey Lyle VT and Ty Tracy 90 on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Listen wherever you are with the VTRN Sports app or watch the show live on YouTube at youtube.com/VTRN Sports Lynchburg. Now, back to the morning warm-up.
7:46 on this Thursday, October 9th. Welcome to the morning warm-up. Joining us now from TechSideline.com, Andy Bitter. Andy, good morning. Thanks so much for getting up with us. Let's dive right into, I do want to talk about their loss to Wake, but obviously there are more pressing matters going on with Virginia Tech in what can be described sort of as a lost season, considering you fire your coach after 3 games. But Whit Babcock discussed with my former professor, Bill Roth, on Friday in a podcast about what's going on with the athletic department, the coaching search, and he announced the committee, which is 8 people, including Bruce Arians, Eddie Royal, Bud Foster, Bridget Ryan Behrman, Lynn, and I might be botching these last names, Lig Dowdy, Brad Hobbs, as well as Ryan McCarthy and Jay Pearson. My question to you is, do we know who really is making this decision, or is there, and I know the Talking with Teal podcast addressed this, is there more dysfunction than probably what you want right now when it comes to a possible coaching search?
I don't know if I call it dysfunction. I would call it mystery, right? We don't really know who's in charge of this thing. We know who's on the committee. We don't know if there's somebody steering the committee that's kind of taking charge of this whole thing. Those questions just haven't been answered. And I know Whit Babcock, went on the podcast last week to talk with Bill Ross, cleared up some of the stuff about, they're going to hire a coach first, not a general manager. The coach will have input on the general manager beyond that. But also left a lot of questions unanswered in terms of, what is the structure of the athletic department after this? Who will report to whom? Who's in charge of the athletic department? Is it a committee? Is it the general manager that they're hiring? Will it be the AD? What input will he have on football? There's just so many sort of unknowns in this whole thing that it gives this air of uncertainty. So I don't know if I'd say there's actual dysfunction. I would just say that they haven't cleared up that there's not dysfunction, and having a clear message plan about this whole thing would certainly help.
They mentioned also on the Talking with Teal with TechSideline.com, which, shout out to David Teal, the Hall of Famer. He provides the best insight possible, along with you, Andy, of course, at Andy Bitter VT, about maybe the messaging has been wrong, and that's why you get this sense of I don't want to say dysfunction, like you mentioned, but uncertainty when it comes to the coaching search. Another part of it that was revealed is that the committee will find 2 to 4 candidates and then go to the leadership decision maker. I can't remember the exact phrase, but it was John Rocco. Hiring authority. Which was, Whit Babcock, Tim Sands, and John Rockovich. Does that signal to you that, which we kind of feel like all along, Whit really doesn't have as much influence or say as probably one he would want, but granted, considering what happened the last 3 times he's hired a football coach, he kind of can't really ask for anymore.
Yeah, I mean, clearly the athletic director has been sidelined in this whole thing. If this was a person with full power there, he would just be making the hire on this one. They clearly don't trust him to do that. I think that's warranted after the way the last 2 hires have gone. I don't know necessarily how much you can blame him on the Fuente hire. That was a good hire. I mean, that was a hire that was hailed at the time. He sort of outmaneuvered some other schools to get a in vogue coach. It's sort of the hot name in that cycle, and it didn't work out. So I guess you judge hires by how they eventually work out in the whole thing, and and that's the case going back to his time in Cincinnati. It's been a 0-for-3 run here that he's had. So, yeah, I think you have to diminish his role in this because of that, because they don't quite trust him to do this. That said, he's still sort of involved in the process, being on this hiring authority group. And, there's a search coach committee that then refers candidates to another committee, and there's a committee that's overseeing this $230 million. There's a lot of committees going on at Virginia Tech. It's a lot of cooks in the kitchen, and you wonder if it's too many, when typically this process is done by an athletic director hiring a head coach who then reports to him or her.
Do you think there's kind of extra sense of fear, considering the last time a notable committee hired a football coach, it resulted in what only can be described as the biggest you-know-what show going on in college football right now, which is happening in Chapel Hill?
Yeah, I don't know how much that was a committee as much as just, delusional boosters that thought they knew better than anybody else. So, not quite the same thing. I think you put a bunch of rich boosters in the room, and they're going to think they're the smartest people in the world. And we couldn't possibly be wrong if we're going after Bill Belichick in this whole thing. And maybe some football people like Bruce Arians and Bud Foster and Eddie Royal could have talked some sense to them and been like, "Hey, college football is different from NFL football. This guy kind of lost his fastball at the end of the run here." You would hope that the people in the room would be smart enough to, talk some of the money people out of that type of thing. But that's the situation you want to avoid. This is why you put, trust into somebody who has made these kind of hires before, that has dealt with agents before, that has sifted through the candidates and kind of knows what's BS and what's not. I think that's valuable when you have an athletic director that you trust to do this, but clearly they don't at Virginia Tech right now, and that kind of makes you wonder what his future in the athletic department is going to be.
Yeah, they even brought up the point, dude. Could you see again? Back to the David Teal brought up the point of could we see Whit Babcock kind of step away, just kind of give up, and whether it's another job where he's connected opens up and he kind of makes either a lateral move or even like a step down move, whether it's to I'm just going to use Cincinnati's where he came from. Like if Cincinnati reopens up in the athletic director department and they want to, Whit goes back there, that could you see a move like that happen in the near future? Just because it one kind of gives him the clean break he needs and gives him a chance to kind of reset things.
Maybe. I think more likely he would just kind of retire and maybe get into one of these coach search firm type deals. There's a lot of soft landing spots for former athletic directors that want to stay connected and don't necessarily want to jump back into it with both feet into the headache that is college sports right now. I mean, think about what they have to deal with right now with this house settlement and constantly getting sued and trying to find more money everywhere. I mean, it's not a cushy job like it used to be. It used to be like you kind of make the schedule and you shake a couple hands at booster meetings and stuff like this. You're navigating some very rough seas right now. And, there's no guarantee that you're going to find some solid land at the end of this whole thing. So I would think if he wasn't the athletic director of Virginia Tech in the future, that I don't imagine he would jump right back into it somewhere else. That said, I could certainly see a situation. It wouldn't. I think it's actually most likely that once all this hiring stuff, the dust settles and hiring a football coach and a GM, that maybe he exits either by his own volition or through some nudging from the board of visitors here. I don't think they can do this all at once right now in the fall, and perhaps that's why they're not. But it's such a strange situation where you continue to have him nominally in charge of the athletic department, but really with no power when it comes to making football decisions or making the most important hire for the athletic department going forward, the football coach. I mean, that's a big one, and that's a relationship that needs to work between the coach and the athletic director. And if you don't have input there, how's that relationship going to work? So, it makes sense that they would maybe move on from him after this, but it also doesn't make sense that he would still be involved to the degree he is involved right now if they weren't going to move on from him. So again, it just kind of comes down to who's in charge and who's making decisions and, what is the reporting structure of this thing going to be going forward.
TexOnline.com's Andy Bitter at Andy Bitter VT joins us. We're talking about the conversation that Bill Roth had with Whit Babcock about the coaching search and about how it would be structured. So I didn't think about this. I saw Eddie Royal's name and it makes sense. It's a guy who is traveling every week to multiple ACC programs and is probably one of the, in terms of media members, probably the most notable Virginia Tech alum in the media who actually played at Virginia Tech, because I'm not going to count Hoda Kotb, who retired from the Today Show. And I'm not going to talk about Bruce Arians on the Pat McAfee show. That's been talked about enough. But something did pop up in my mind when I saw a clip of the pregame of the ACC crew in Tallahassee. There's a guy that he shares a desk with. And I don't think Virginia Tech's going to go this way, but how is that kind of a this could be something, this could be nothing? The fact that a member of the committee is on the road every week with a guy in Jimbo Fisher that has not hid the fact that he wants to get back into coaching. It feels like Jimbo maybe could be throwing Eddie some ideas as the time goes on.
Yeah, I think every committee member is going to have some preferences and some connections. I'm sure Bud knows a bunch of defensive coaches in the industry. I'm sure Bruce knows a bunch of NFL types in the industry. Eddie's got people that he knows, certainly at the ACC network and beyond that whole thing. Perhaps that at least kind of puts him on the radar a bit more. If we're talking about Jimbo Fisher here, I don't know if that bumps him up the ladder at all. I think there's still a lot of questions he'd have to answer about how things ended at Texas A&M and, leaving there and not really achieving what they set out to achieve there, even though that's a very well-funded program. You look at what they're doing now with Mike Elko. They're top 5 right now. That's a really tremendous football team that they have there. And why couldn't Jimbo get that done there with the type of resources that they had? So, there's a ton of questions, and his national championship feels like a long time ago at Florida State, a long time ago in football years. So is he at the peak of his game? Sometimes it feels like it's tough to hire a guy that's, not unemployed, but not employed as a coach right now. I feel like that's a tough hurdle to get over sometimes.
Now, another part of this, and I mentioned it, is obviously we've already had our first contradiction between Witt and a member of the committee with the, obviously Bruce Arians saying there's going to be a GM first, then the head coach, and obviously Witt tracking that back in this podcast. Eddie Royal being on television. Now, I don't suspect, during ACC, is it ACC Huddle or I don't know their pregame show off the top of my head. Him to say, hey, we're going to hire, he's going to say, we're looking at these 3 people. But do you think the fact that, Witt, I think one of the best skills that Witt has is keeping a coaching search within, quiet. There was no leaks when it came to Mike Young. There was no leaks really when it came to Brent Pry, not even Justin Fuente. Do you think ultimately, now that there are more cooks in the kitchen, that this could be a coaching search that is more public than maybe to the liking of some people within the athletic department?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's a lot easier for one person to keep a secret than 8 or however many people are in tune with how this whole thing is going. Absolutely. I would imagine stuff would get out and more leaks. I don't know how much of it accurate necessarily. Some people in the committee might view candidates stronger than others, or maybe pushing for it or something like that. So I think it can make it messier or more public in this whole thing. I don't know if that necessarily hinders the final result. I think what becomes a problem is something like Tennessee a couple years ago when like the Schiano news got out, and then everybody's like, oh no, we're revolting against this, and then they said very publicly went after Mike Leach, I think, and then that didn't work out, and a couple other guys said no, and that's sort of the problem, is when the search gets out of control and the name gets out there that maybe didn't necessarily want to get out there that soon, and it causes such a negative reaction that you have to backtrack on that whole thing. It probably not off to a great start to go out and say, yeah, we're going to hire a GM first, and then the head coach, and then have to reverse course on that thing rather publicly. But again, I think this is the problem you have when you have a committee on this whole thing, and this is the route they've chosen to go. So now they have to figure out a way to manage that.
We're here with Andy Bitter on VTR and Sports 93.3 FM, W227BG, Timberlake, 1320 MWVG, and Lynchburg, WMNA, Gretna, Southside. Going a little bit into overtime. Ty, I know you got a question.
Well, with this going on, finding a GM and a head coach, do you feel like it's going to be some head bump, like it's going to be some bumping heads if you hire a GM, like a guy who's will be focused on football, but he doesn't take no stuff from other people, like the committee and everything. Like he say, this is my way. I want to do it this way for the football team.
Yeah, there might be a degree of that. I think it's also important to have a difference of opinion. If everybody within the football program is on the same page about everything, who's pushing back and saying, I don't know, I have an issue with this one player or something like that, or maybe we need to rethink this. If you just have a bunch of yes men in the program, they just rubber stamp everything the head coach does. do you get a situation like Bill Belichick where there's no pushback on the thing and all of a sudden the program's in shambles and there's nobody powerful enough to say no to him on something like that or disagree with him on something? So I think you want that, not necessarily butting heads, but I think you want somebody with a strong opinion in that GM role that's going to be able to push back a little bit on the head coach if he or she thinks that head coach is out of line. And it'll be interesting to watch. We've never seen that sort of dynamic before at Virginia Tech, certainly, and it hasn't been very common in the college game where the head coach has always been supreme, right? It's his way or the highway. Nobody else is really going to be able to contradict him in that situation. And now it's not quite that absolute power that you've had these programs. So I don't think that's a bad thing, and I think perhaps some of these head coaches could benefit by someone like that. I mean, what is the greatest example of an outside voice coming in and giving some input at Virginia Tech? It's when Justin Fuente hired Jerry Kill to be his assistant to the head coach. And what does he come in? He goes, hey, you've got the wrong quarterback. You're running the wrong offense. You need to completely change this thing, put Hendon Hooker in and run a very run-based offense and throw off play action and misdirection and all this stuff. And it saved the 2019 season. And that was something that maybe Fuente saw but couldn't put into action himself without hearing somebody else come in and giving a different viewpoint and saying, I've been around for a while. I've seen this. This is what you need to do. And he, to his credit, he did it, and he saved the season and his job for a while there. It didn't work out in the long term. And now look at what Jerry Kill's doing at Vanderbilt. Yeah. So there's a value in having a veteran voice like that, a different voice like that in the program. I think it can be very helpful.
At Andy Bitter VT. Andy, I will ask you one football question before we get on out of here. Appreciate you going a little overtime with us today. Game against Georgia Tech, this Saturday, taking on a Georgia Tech team that is kind of the model of what Virginia Tech wants to be. What is something you just want to see from this team in this game where they're double-digit underdogs, they're in Atlanta, they're taking on a team that has a real shot at getting to the ACC championship game, let alone the college football playoff?
Yeah, I think you got to throw the ball better, right? 111 yards against Wake Forest. It's just not going to get the job done. And if you're going to pull an upset of some of these teams, I don't think you're going to do it just by running the clock and milking the clock and playing defense in a low-scoring game. You've got to be able to score and hit some big plays in this stuff. And, the Hokies have some capability at receiver. Donovan Green, Aiden Green, I think Takai Heath's coming along. Cam Selden's an interesting guy. Kyron Drones has to play better. The offensive line has to protect him better. They need to scheme it better to provide him time to throw these balls, take some downfield shots. I think you just need more production from that passing game, certainly if you're going to try to upset a team where you're a 2-touchdown underdog.
At Andy Bitter VT, AndyBitterTechSideline.com, covers the Hokies the best at it. Andy, I appreciate the time this morning.
All right, thanks for having me.
That will do it for us today. Tomorrow, Sam will join us for picks. We'll talk a little NASCAR. I'm going to try to get Tom Bowles on. So we'll talk with the boss man, Tom Bowles. And now to Unsportsmanlike, already in progress.
T-shirts. My thing is that I love fresh sheets in bed. I
we should
wash
start a
and
cleaning
change
service.
my sheets
The Unsportsmanlike
a crazy
cleaning
amount of
service.
times.